Hello, I am your psychological mentor, Park Seni. I have become a person with a very strong mentality. Probably since my late 20s and even in my mid-20s, I had become much stronger. By my late 20s, I became extremely strong. I continue to live in that strong state, but there was a time when I had a very weak mentality. I really have nothing to say if you don't believe me, but I know myself, and I was a person with a very weak mentality. However, I always had the desire to become stronger. Even though I was weak, I didn't just hesitate because of it. I wanted to become stronger despite being weak. I was that kind of person. My mentality was so weak that I often cried, and even though I got into fights and got hit, I would fight rather than laugh. To laugh. But I was a boy who would cry while reading a book or watching something continuously, and things like my father's debt always troubled me. So I always wondered, should I just end it all? These thoughts, even if just for a moment, because of that debt, a couple of 100 million, 200 million. I never acted on those thoughts because of that amount of money, but I was someone who briefly entertained such imaginations. And I used to wonder if I could ever drive a nice car like an Equus. Now I have all the nice things, but back then, even when I saw an Equus, I wondered if I could ever drive something like that. Even when I saw a grandeur, I questioned if I could ever drive something like that. I used to think so skeptically, but everything has changed. However, I was so mentally weak. Despite being someone who was mentally weak, how is it that I now possess a strong mentality, a tough mentality, the strongest mentality, and can even teach others about it? No matter how much I think about it, there's just one reason. The truth is, it's because I believe in the truth. But the degree to which I believe is a bit different from most people. Most people seem to just have a sense of knowing, but I have many truths that I can always explain. So when I guide others, when I guide my students, I'm always in that state. So from around my mid-20s, regardless of the situation or conditions, I could always keep reiterating the truth. And I live my life in a state where it just naturally comes out at any time. So when I look at others, for example, are you positive? Are you negative? If I ask like this, many people would be divided. I am negative, I am positive. Then what I usually tell most of my students is this, especially when they are 20-year-olds. You repeat test takers, you change depending on the situation. It changes depending on the situation. So if you create a somewhat positive situation, you start thinking positively. And if you create a negative situation, you immediately start thinking negatively. But this is not absolute positivity. Absolute positivity means that you should be able to remain positive no matter the situation or conditions. Whether your father's debt worsens or even more serious situations arise, you need to maintain an absolute positive state, but that doesn't just happen naturally. It doesn't just happen. It starts when your mind begins to operate in a way that you can always explain powerful truths, the highest truths. Only then do you truly become a positive person, because you first believe, are confident, and trust that you can transform all external conditions with the truths you know. And because you possess such truths, you can approach people who can fulfill your desires, understanding all human attributes, and utilize them one by one. When these changes are all visualized through the language of the subconscious, or imagination, then you can always remain positive. So, this process is definitely necessary. It's something that everyone needs. To succeed and to live more stylishly and happily than others, you must understand what I'm telling you now. But don't try to go through this process all at once, because that would be too difficult. It will feel impossible. So just keep repeating and repeating the most important truths and values every day, and you'll always be able to explain them. And check if you are always in a state where you can explain it. And based on that truth, think about how you can use it to bring about good things and change your current situation. As you keep thinking about which truths you can utilize, gradually you'll move towards a state where your subconscious is controlled. You can make 90% of your subconscious lean towards positive imagination. What needs to come first for that to happen? Truth. The most essential truth gets embedded in the subconscious and becomes explainable. Then from that state, positive imaginations, thoughts of thriving and succeeding naturally emerge. At that time, your actual reality will also have changed in a very wonderful way. Well, I'm really tired right now, but I had to film the video, so I just talked through it. If you don't understand it at once, I believe that by watching it multiple times, you will surely understand what I'm saying. Let's wrap it up for today. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, and set the notification bell. Always stay strong and keep striving. See you next time. Believe in the truth. Thank you.